Hi guys, Choswa Reactions, and this video going to react to episode 1 of season 1 of Babylon 5. Thank you so much for your support, Tony. Let's get into it. 1000 hours Earth Standard Time. I thought Lola just had some
Picking up disturbance.
special haircut, but I guess not.
Trying to get a fix. Tell them we're under attack! Tell them it's the...
Oh!
Then you give us this line about how Earth is some lost Centauri tribe, making us distant relatives, until we finally got our hands on some Centauri DNA and find out we're not related at all. Appearances aside,
I guess they're
we're two
re-establishing
completely different species.
A clerical error.
like the character dynamics for people who haven't watched the movie.
Our colony, Ragesh 3, our agricultural colony.
Yes, I know what it is. What about
Well, it's no
It's
more.
under attack. No provocation, no warning. They got through the minefields and now they're firing on anything that moves. Fighters, wave after wave after wave.
who launched the attack?
I don't know. No one does.
The name of the place is Babylon 5.
Doo-doo.
Ambassador, I just heard.
Yes, you have my sincerest condolences for your loss.
Not sure if
You
it's
know nothing
sincere.
about this attack, Shakar?
I'm as astonished as you are.
So did the Lynn have new makeup?
Talia Winters, licensed commercial telepath, Psycho rating P5. I was assigned to Babylon 5 a few weeks ago.
But where's the other one? Where's Laurel?
Psycho regulations require me to log in with the second in command. I've tried to reach you 3 times, but I guess you've been busy. I figured I'd try the direct approach.
Your diligence is commendable. Anything else? Who do you think attacked the colony? The Narns, the Minbari?
Not the Minbari. It's not their way. They're too honorable to pull something like this.
I'm surprised to hear you describe the Minbari that way. You fought them during the war.
Well, my father always told me the best way to understand someone is to fight him, make him angry. That's when you see the real person. I've never seen the Minbari fight dishonorably. They'd never pull a sneak attack.
Perhaps.
And even gave up.
Any
Well,
word yet on
they
the election?
didn't have any reason to.
I do not like Santiago. I've always thought that a leader should have a strong chin. He has no chin, and his vice president has several. This, to me, is not a good combination.
What?
That is a Narn heavy fighter. That bastard Shakar, he said he knew nothing of this. Shakar!
Once again, he's involved in a mess. Does he still think he has a transmitter inside of him?
We're talking major weaponry here. I don't like it. All right, let's find a black box and get back to base.
Ambassador Molari.
Yeah, don't be too friendly.
Would you like some spoo? It's quite fresh this week.
Oh,
You bastard.
extra flavor.
You won't get away with this. We'll strike back, and we'll strike back hard. We should have wiped out your kind when we had the chance.
What happened? Run out of small children to butcher?
You pig.
Security?
The first time I saw Shakar, I recognized him as the one from the dream.
What?
It will happen. 20 years from now, we will die with our hands around each other's throats.
20 years is a long time. Long enough for your people to come to an understanding.
Believe as you wish. Khan is my nephew. He wanted to enter the Centauri military. I was afraid for him. So I personally arranged for him to have a higher position as head researcher on Ragesh 3. I don't know if he is alive or dead.
I'm sorry.
Only one thing matters, Commander. Blood.
Then why even bother try? Why even being here?
If Khan is dead, there will be war.
Thing is, transport routes are kept secret so they can avoid being attacked like this.
It sounds like there's a leak.
I'm checking into it now.
Man, isn't there a leak?
Keep me informed.
Does your government have a position on the current situation? Will you attend the
Why do you seem like some kind of light bulb? Floating light bulb.
Yes. They are a dying people. We should let them pass.
Who? The Narn or the Centauri?
Yes.
What? Yes. Who of the two? Another one who likes to be vague.
The council can go to hell. And the emergency session can go to hell. And you can go to hell too. I wouldn't want you to feel left out. After full consideration of the situation, the great Centauri Republic, the lion of the galaxy, will do nothing.
But why?
Because Ragesh 3 is too far, too small, too unimportant to risk a confrontation. If we can get the others to step in, perhaps we can embarrass those idiots back home into doing something. Do you understand?
Wow, you're such a great ambassador. But I understand where he's coming from. I mean, I also want to do something if I was in his position. I wouldn't just settle with doing nothing.
Unlike me, the lieutenant commander takes a while to warm up to people, especially when she's working. Tell you what, when she gets off duty at 1800 hours, she always stops by the casino to wind down. Afterward, if you like, you can stop by my quarters and I can show you my favorite thing in the whole universe. Okay, my second favorite thing in the universe.
Oh my god.
I will confess that I look forward to the day when we have cleansed the universe of the Centauri and carved their bones into little flutes for Narn children. It is a dream.
Everyone is so creative
Careful,
with their
Ambassador.
threats.
Not every dream I've heard lately ends well for you.
In our position, you would do the same.
We are alike in one respect. We've had plenty of experience with sneak attacks. Pearl Harbor, the terrorist nuking of San Diego, the destruction of our first Mars colony. It's a long and bloody history. Do you know what we learned from it? That the sneak attack is the first resort of a coward.
Just a minute.
You didn't even have the decency to pick a military target. You want me. You know where to find me.
Sinclair's so badass.
See you in council, Ambassador.
The ship's technically a supply vessel, all right, but this time it got booked by a refugee export service. There are over 500 men, women, and children on that ship. If the raiders get there before we do, they're dead.
Then we'll get there first.
Damn it, don't you realize that we've got an election in less than 24 hours?
Wow.
Senator, colonists are dying out there.
That's not the issue. We just came out of one war, Commander. What are you trying to do, start another? The Earth Alliance can't go around being the galaxy's policeman. They want to fight it out, let them. Just keep us out of it at least till after the election.
Well, I hope they're loaded for bear. From what Garibaldi says, the raiders are packing some pretty big guns, and...
Commander?
That might
Eureka
be it.
mode?
Tell Garibaldi to stand down. I'm taking his place with Delta Flight.
Should I postpone the council meeting?
No. Look, if I'm at that meeting, I'll have to do something I don't want to do, so let it go on without me. You can take my place on the council.
No one is doing things by the book. Whoa.
This meeting of the Babylon 5 Council and the League of Non-Living
I have to admit, I
Worlds
got a
is called
little
to
bit
order.
scared there.
I would like to remind the Council that before the Centauri Republic invaded our sector, Ragesh 3 was a Narn colony. Now that we are free of the invaders, it is our right to reclaim it. Justice, not hatred. We have no desire to start a war.
Interesting method of doing that then.
Magnifying. Confirm sighting. Full thrusters. Maintain formation until contact, then break and attack.
I am head researcher and project director for the Ragesh 3 agricultural colony. Faced with chaos and anarchy, the Ragesh 3 Administrative Council asked for assistance from the neighboring Narn regime.
That's not true.
We have chosen,
Clearly reading of something.
of our own free will, to ally ourselves
While
with
you're
the Narn
trembling.
government.
I'm sure they threatened to kill him. It's a lie.
If you want to talk about lies, Ambassador, what about your lie of omission? Is it not true that your own world has voted against taking any actions in response to the liberation of Ragesh 3?
Yes, but...
Then why have you asked this council to take actions that even your own government considers inappropriate?
Fuck. He's sneaky, but he's smart.
Babylon 5 to raiding party. Surrender your vessels or be destroyed. I assume I can take that as a no.
A firm one.
Velocity now.
Huh.
Commander, are we heading the wrong way? The raiders went the opposite direction.
Exactly. Which is what I'd do if I wanted to decoy fighters away from a command and control ship. A CNC transport that looks a lot like that. Gotcha.
Blood calls out for blood.
They're going to need a Babylon 6 if they're going to keep this up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Uh-oh, now she knows. Run to someone! Scream! Alarm! Button! Something!
Garibaldi.
Yeah, Garibaldi, that's a good option.
Don't force me to make this official.
No!
Oh,
I don't want to do it. But you lay one finger on a weapon and I'll kill you where you stand.
understand.
Yes, I do. I understand better than you'll ever know.
Well, it seems I'm still on target for my appointment 20 years from now.
What appointment?
It's a long story.
You don't want to know.
Perhaps another time. Would you really have killed me?
Yes. Yes, I would have. But I'm just as glad I didn't have to. The paperwork's a pain in the butt.
Well, they're both honest to each other. Reminds me of that scene in the pilot. Well, movie I meant.
I kept wondering where the raiders were getting their heavy weapons. Then I thought about our conversation. Narns will sell to anyone who can afford to pay. Went aboard and found your friend here.
Reunited!
Found these data crystals. They contain reports the captain here monitored between Ragesh 3 and Narn Central Command.
Just tell your forces on Ragesh 3 to withdraw, or we bring this evidence to the council. Your choice, Ambassador.
My mother was like you, a telepath. None of us ever knew it was her secret since she was a girl. She wasn't trained. She was never able to use it well. You can either join the Psi Corps, or go to prison, or agree to take certain drugs for the rest of your life. Drugs that inhibit your telepathic abilities.
That's the law. Unregistered telepaths.
It's not because of the law that it's right.
In order to protect the privacy of others.
And when we thought she could go no further, she took her own life.
I'm sorry.
And yet you're as much of a victim as my mother.
I don't feel like a victim.
And so far I cannot tell if that is good or bad.
Can you do it, Dodgers?
Oh, this is my second favorite thing in the universe.
Because there's no one knows his way around outer space like...
Did not expect this, but very welcomed. Her confusion.
Santiago's campaign was based on a promise to cut the budget and to keep Earth out of war. His agenda for the coming term includes creating a closer relationship with the Mars colony.
Lights and good night.
Commander, there's a problem.
Of course, what an ending. Can never rest. Well, I guess this was a pilot episode of Babylon 5. I really enjoyed it. There were some differences with the movie. Some things that I preferred in the movie, but I still like this as a pilot. I understand that they wanted to make it accessible for people who haven't seen it. I am happy that I have watched the movie first, because I do prefer the movie towards this episode. But it's not that weird, because the movie was 1 hour and a half, while they only had 40 minutes here. So of course they have to, do it another way. But by watching the movie, I did have a better appreciation and understanding of a lot of the characters here. I am disappointed that Laurel isn't anymore in it. I guess that the new character, and haven't remembered her name, but the new lieutenant, she's the replacing, I guess, the Laurel character. And I also haven't seen, was it Dr. Ben? So I'm thinking he's also gone, or maybe that it wasn't necessary, maybe it wasn't necessary to have a doctor in this episode. I have no idea, but it seems that they don't have Dr. Ben anymore and Laurel, which I'm personally, I don't know, I'm a little bit disappointed. I really like those two characters, and I also really like their interactions. But it's a shame, but I'm sure that the new, I guess, characters are also going to grow on me, especially the lieutenant. It took me a little while. I wasn't too sure how I felt about her, and also the new mind reader or telepath. I was like, what happened to the previous one? So that took me a little bit of time, but especially with the bar scene at the end, when the lieutenant was telling about her mom and how telepaths only have 3 options: either joining the corpse. No, corpse sounds weird. You know what I'm trying to say. That, or prison, or taking drugs for the rest of their lives. Every week they have to get injections. And for her mom, it ended very horribly. Her mom took her own life. That scene, I did not expect that, but it was a very good scene. It was hard. It was still hard to watch, of course, because of the subject matter. But it was acted very well, and we got got to see a little bit more about the lieutenant. Because so far she just seemed like the stern lieutenant, no nonsense, just doing the job, and that's about it. I mean, there were not that there were some more, I guess, humanly moments between it, as with her weird motivation of who she wanted to vote for, but that bar scene really sold it. At that scene, I really felt the most for her, and not only for her, but also for the telepath, who I also have to write down the name. I took less notes than last time because I wanted to focus more on what I was seeing, but I'm sure I'm gonna learn the names fast. But I mean, I definitely want to learn more about this, but I understand that the telepath was like, it's the law, but again, it's not because of the law that it's good, But I also understand that she doesn't see herself as a victim, maybe for her, in this case for her, she maybe feels empowered. The question is she really feeling empowered, or is she just made to believe that way? I'm a little bit upset that the lieutenant didn't want to tell her that, maybe they can try to have a better start the next day. But a lot of characters in the show are very honest to each other. I mean, with the exception of Jikar, I guess. So okay, she was honest that she doubted, but it's I understand that it, I guess, triggers her to see her, but I also understand that the telepath doesn't want to see herself as a victim. But I guess you have to see, if maybe that's going to evolve. The characters that they already know, it was good to see them again, and also good to see, I guess, the fights again, but they got a little bit more serious this time. I know that the main mission is to retain peace between all the different alien races, but we started right off with an attack, and it's and it was very, it was what they were attacking Londo's alien race, the Centauri, people who weren't armed, and it was all because of Jikar once again. And he has stated that he thinks that what he's doing is justice. He believes because in the past, it was one of their, I guess, colonies that it's justified that they want to reclaim it. But if you want to reclaim something that used to belong to you, there are other ways. And yeah, I know, I realize that I'm making it very simple by saying this, but just focus on the show. He could have gone about it a different way instead of just attacking. He knows he could have done it the other way, but I guess that would have went fast enough. And Karn seems was still alive, but he was very obviously being threatened to beat that off and to claim that they're all good and all working together with the Narn. So that was also hard to watch. You could clearly see that he was trembling and very scared, and it was hard for Londo to see that. But I also, it took me a while before I realized that he was making a gun, Londo. But when he made the gun and when he was going to kill Jikar, I thought it was very good acting of the scenes. Not only when the telepath read his mind and he could see it, but I especially mean when he was being confronted by Garibaldi. I don't know. I really, those two definitely have good scenes in the movie as well. There was a scene that I really appreciated, and this scene again, and it's interesting to see that that I guess there isn't a single person so far in this show that is doing everything 100% by the book, because he should have reported it, should have mentioned it, that Londo was about to kill Jikar, but no, he's not going to say it. He's going to keep it a secret, but he has prevented, for Londo to kill Jikar. Even though Londo's very, very focused on this dream that he has, that in 20 years, their both going to strangle each other, but then he's going to be opposite of G'Kar. Really hoping that won't happen in 20 years, because that's not really the whole point of Babylon 5, is it? But no, Londo again, he once again manages to surprise me. I don't know the actor, but he's doing a great job. He is capable of kind of switching between, being some... Well, he wasn't as eccentric to me as in the movie, so that helped as well. But even so, he's very good at switching between of them. Not seeming just to be some kind of cardboard over the top character, but once again we could see some layers. We could see his feelings, and not just by telling, but also by seeing it. And I felt bad, but when he was telling how he gave Karn his official high position because he thought he would have been safer that way instead of being in the army, and yeah, that didn't really work out. Other thing compared to the movie is the makeup. I not sure if I'm the only one, but I honestly preferred the makeup from the movie. I'm not sure why they changed it. Was it because they thought that it would be better this way, or was it because of budgetary reasons? I don't know. Don't get me wrong, I'm still enjoying the makeup. I definitely don't think the makeup is bad. I'm not saying that at all. But I showed some parts of the movie to my sister yesterday, so that's why the makeup is pretty fresh in my mind. But I don't know, I enjoyed the makeup more from the movie, and also of G'Kar. Not sure if they changed that much, but I think his lips were in the movie darker. It's like a tiny detail, but somehow I was a little bit distracted it wasn't anymore. But I know that's not as important, but I just wanted to point that out. By the way, I'm not sure how you guys will feel about this, but I showed my sister some parts, as I said, and my sister's like, this commander, this Sinclair, he kind of reminds me of Christian Bale. I was like, what are you saying? But I can't deny that when I was watching the movie, at some points, it did kind of remind me of Christian Bale of the American Psycho era. I don't know. I didn't have that as much while watching this episode, though, but I don't know. I'm sorry if you're mad about that, but I thought it would be funny to share that. Oh, we also got to see more of Kosh, the ambassador of the... Was it Vorlon? Let me watch my notes. Vorlon? Yeah. We got to see him again. We also heard him talking. I'm still like, oh, we actually heard him talk, because we didn't hear him talk in the movie. He was also out of his environmental suit, and it seemed to be some kind of light. I mean, to be fair, in the movie when he was opened up, we also saw this white light, but at the same time, Ben also saw, I guess, his face, because he seemed a little bit traumatized about that. So it's definitely not just a light bulb, but it kind of seemed that way while he was behind that, I guess, curtain thing. But I don't know, I really enjoyed this episode, and I am very curious about like I said before, what kind of topics they're going to deal with. And, once again, I've already stated before, but once again, it's very clear that it's definitely not a show where you have an easy answer. It's definitely one of those shows where you can't always just say, like, oh, that's why that's good. Like, for example, and it's a pretty simple example, but for example, with the whole telepath having only 3 choices and it's the law. At first I was like, 100%, like, how can you even make a law like that? But then when I guess telepath herself mentioned that it was because of privacy concern, we're like, oh, I mean, it makes sense that there would be some kind of regulation, because just letting people who can read minds walk around, what kind of consequences will it all have? But I'm not sure if I agree with this way, like, especially with the drugs, if it makes people so miserable that it even makes them commit suicide. Like, that's not supposed to happen. So I understand there having to be a law personally, but also not so sure about this one. So that's a very simple example, but so yeah, I don't know, I'm kind of rambling, but I'm just taking my... Let me just check if I'm forgetting something to mention. Oh, another thing with example is with the elections and the Earth Force or Earth. I think it was Earth Force or Earth Central. Anyways, that they were, that the guy was telling Sinclair to not intervene and that Earth should be neutral, because at first it was just like almost rolling my eyes, or maybe even rolling my eyes and be like, oh, why they're not doing anything, but then, oh yeah, again, Marty, it's not that simple as just doing some boom boom and stuff. We have to think about the alliance. We can't just take action all the time. We can't just help out whenever we want, because it sends a certain message, and when we send a certain message there will be certain consequences. But in this case they found a way, to do what they had to do without ensuring that another war will happen. Yeah, and I'm not sure if Londo already said this in the movie, and maybe I didn't really notice it, but repeatedly the Centauri were saying the Great Maker or Great Maker, so they're also religious, just as the Minbari, who with the infamous Great Council, who we are not allowed to talk about. So yeah. Oh, and I'm sorry, this is very messy. I'm sorry, but also the still bad with his name, but Garibaldi, when he was talking with Londo in that scene when he was trying to convince him to not use his gun because otherwise he would have shot him, then he said that he understands him more than he would ever know. And I was like, is he anything about something about his past? So that was also interesting. So I guess these were my very messy thoughts about this pilot episode. I hope I'm somewhat understandable. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one. Thanks a lot for watching and for your patience. Bye.